What's up, everybody? I'm Weston Falconberry. Welcome to a Wellness Odyssey, the official podcast for Fine Fix Finish Health and Wellness. I am Coach Weston, as I just said. Today we are going to be talking about three things. Number one is the mini cut, how it's going, where I'm at, what I'm doing with that. Number two is fitness programming, what I'm currently doing, what I look for in the future. And then the final thing is a handstand challenge, and I'll get all into that. So let's get started. All right. So first and foremost, I want to thank you for tuning in to the podcast. If you're a returning subscriber, that's awesome. I really appreciate that. The subscriber count has gone up recently, so I'm very grateful for that. I'm very thankful for that. If you're new here, thank you for coming. If you like what you see, go ahead, leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. But I really appreciate y'all coming in and, just interacting with me and helping me out through this as I get the podcast started, the channel started, get this health and wellness business started. And I'm super grateful and thankful that, y'all guys and gals are helping me out through this time. So this is really cool. So first subject is we are going to talk about the mini cut that I had decided to do like 2 weeks ago. So I think I'm currently on day 16 right now of this mini cut. And so what the whole point of it was I had looked in the mirror one day and I was like, man, I just don't like what I see. There's just like a little bit too much flab going on. And I wasn't really in kind of a mood to appreciate myself, still muscular, still do all that stuff. But it was, right about mid-January, so I was still getting the holiday effects still going. There's all that. We've all been there where, during the holidays, we kind of let ourselves go and, we're just eating a lot, not really caring. I got really sick in December, so that's not an excuse, but I mean, it's just whatever. It is an excuse, and I really don't give it. I don't care. But it was something that I noticed. I had lost a lot of my habits, my patterns, everything for that. And so I was just ready to start doing something again. And what I figured I was going to do was go on this mini cut, lose some body fat, taper down on the weight a little bit, and then go ahead and start to rebuild some more muscle, get a little bit bigger, maybe go into a bulking phase after a little bit. Just, I just wanted to try and do something that I'd never done before. And so to recap, like I said, I'm on day 16 now, and things have been kind of all over the place. Like I started this mini cut weighing 191 pounds, and like last week when I did my weigh-in and everything like that, I think the highest that I got to was like 197. So obviously I wasn't cutting, I wasn't losing weight. It looked like I had been gaining some weight or the numbers had appeared that I had been gaining weight. That's the thing that, I want to really, look into this. But as I was looking in the mirror and doing all this stuff, I noticed that my body composition had been changing. I was losing, belly fat where I'd always wanted to lose belly fat. And so from that, I'm taking this off. I don't need that. And so from that, that was pretty cool to know that I could, lose some fat. It looked like obviously I was gaining some muscle in that process. So that was really cool. Now I credit the numbers going up strictly to me putting in the time and effort in the weights. My resistance training had just gone incredibly crazy awesome, like off the charts. I was putting up good numbers. And again, in December, I hadn't done anything. There was nothing going on. I wasn't training. I was sick. I was eating like, your computer. Okay, whatever. I was just putting in some awful stuff. Like it just wasn't working out, and so that was a thing. But yeah, so the strength training really added up to it. That was what really was doing it for me. I was putting up big numbers. I also started doing a lot more cardio. So I would do strength training or cardio I would do strength training and cardio every day. It just depended on when I did it. Most of the times I would do cardio in the morning because I woke up and I was fasted. And then that was that. And then I would I'd do my strength training and then have a meal, or have a meal and then do my strength training. And so that's just how you're going to do it. But in that time, like, I was intermittent fasting, for like 16 hours a day. I was fasted 16 hours a day and had a window of like 8 hours. And that was in the first couple of weeks. This last week, this is, where things started to get really good. I weighed myself today and I was 191 this morning. So I'm back down to my starting weight. Still feeling really good. However, I credit that to my intermittent fasting window. I figured it out, right? So I figured it out, what adjustments that I need to make, where I need to go, and that's still getting the protein in, because when I was doing those windows of fasting, I was, just shoveling everything in. But I watched, I was doing some more research on it, and I would take, now I've started taking protein shakes in the morning. I was doing whey at first, but now I've started doing casein, because that's going to last a little bit longer. Has a slower absorption rate, and there is no upper protein absorption window if it's a slow digesting protein like casein. So I can get more protein in me throughout my fasted window, which it's kind of not intermittent fasting, but at the same time, like, what I do is very different than what somebody who's not exercising is. Somebody who's not strength training and squatting, 250, benching 225, and then going out and like doing bike rides and runs and swimming and everything like that. I do that all in one day, so that's kind of terrible. It's terrible to do. I don't recommend it if you're a beginner. But if you do want to try intermittent fasting, what I say is that get your protein, get liquid protein in the morning, so that way you're not as hungry. And then when your window comes open, make sure you're getting in good, solid, digestible protein that will drag you out for a little bit longer. And then you should be able to see. So intermittent fast, the mini cut is going really good. I think, I'm only going to do it for 4 weeks. So I got 2 weeks left. So that's good. I'm really excited to see the results at the end of it. But yeah, so that's something that I'm very excited to see what this science experiment is going to uphold. So that's that. That is the mini cut right there. Okay, so subject number 2 is the current program that I just finished this morning, which is something I use an app that helps me kind of learn different, programs and different techniques and everything like that. And so I just finished a 4-week 313 program, which, if you're not familiar with that, 313 kind of represents days of work, then rest, then days of work. And how the program is divided is on day 1, you're doing exercises for your chest and your back. On day 2, you're doing lower body exercises. On day 3, you're doing your shoulders and you're doing your arms. And abs are worked out. Abs are done with the lower days, but I added in a lot. And then you go for a day of rest, and then you start back. And then the next day is back and chest. So more emphasis is placed on the back than it is the chest. And then you go into a lower body, and then you go into an arms day with shoulders and stuff like that. And so you just keep repeating that cycle. So it is a 7-day thing, but what I like to do, so it's like 3, 1, 3, 1, and then just keeps going, and it kind of keeps it, it keeps it fresh. All right. So I'm not doing chest and back on Mondays. I started chest and back on a Monday. Then it was next, like, the next day it was like a Tuesday, and then it was a Wednesday. And so how it all worked out was pretty good and very fun. And it was all bodybuilding stuff, bodybuilding exercises and ideology, except for the 313, which if you're interested in learning about CrossFit, not just the brand, but the mentality, the philosophy around CrossFit CrossFit has this idea that you only need to work 3 days a week, like if you're just a normal person. And that is 100% true. That is the absolute true. Once you start getting into athlete status, right, where you're doing it more consistently, see, they like to preach you go 3 days, then a rest, 3 days, then a rest, and then all their modalities that you're exercising. So they like gymnastics, Olympic weightlifting, and single modalities, or monostructure modalities is what they call it. And that's like your cardio, that's your running, your swimming, stuff like that. And then how they organize it is they'll have like a body weight, or they'll have like a body weight date, your gymnastics date, where you're doing like pull-ups or dips or something, and that's what you focus on. Then the next day they have your running and your Olympic weightlifting. And then the next day, then you have all three, and then you rest. And then the following day, then you're like, that's a single modality day. So you're doing like your 5K run, or you're just doing one, and that's how it combines. And so you do that. And so the philosophy is very fascinating when it comes to CrossFit. And once you start to learn a little bit more about CrossFit, you start reading the old journals of it. It's exciting, and it's thrilling, and it keeps things from getting stale. And so, there seems to be a lack in CrossFit growth right now as a brand and everything. Fair enough, because it had its time. People are done hating on it too, because, I mean, you see the bodies that come out, the men and women. Like, if I could ever have the body of a CrossFit woman, like I would sell my soul, right? So they're just super ripped. But that is something that, I like to do every now and then. That's how I really got started into fitness, was by learning about CrossFit, doing, I just did the workouts on the website, or I would watch YouTube videos and I just copy it, and I didn't know shit about it. But now, having learned, and it's been like 10 years of doing this, I've learned a lot about CrossFit. I really think CrossFit has a lot of value. I don't think, my personal opinion is, you shouldn't solely do CrossFit. You need to have a lot more of everything involved. But I think CrossFit has wonderful theories that everyone should incorporate to any kind of training program or any kind of wellness program or anything like that. So that said, so the program that I just finished today was just that 313 bodybuilding style. So in the future, what I want to do, I've kind of set a goal. Well, I set a goal for the time that I turn 40. I would like to actually be competing in CrossFit affiliate, or CrossFit, I don't know what they call, but CrossFit sanctioned events. So I'm 38 now, I think. I'm 38 or I'm going to be 38, one of those two. But I would like to compete in the 40 to 45-year-old category, which is the masters, they call it. I won't be a master, but I would like to be doing that. And so I've set some goals for myself to start incorporating the Olympic weight, Olympic lifts, some more runs, all that stuff, handstand walking. And that's what I'm going to get into the next subject is, there's all sorts of fun stuff that you can do in CrossFit. And so that's the next goal that I got going on. The next program that I'm going to start doing is sticking to the 313 time frame and that structure. But I'm going to have it a lot more varied in that. And so I'm going to start figuring out things of how I can use that to incorporate Olympic lifts, other trainings, gymnastic trainings in it, because I do believe that 313 in that split of torso, lower, arms plays a huge role in all of this, and it adds a lot of value. So I'm looking forward to combining bodybuilding with CrossFit, and I'm going to see where it goes from there. So that's the current program that I just ended. The next program will be something incredibly ridiculous. Okay, and on to the final subject, which, if you've been following me on TikTok, Instagram, or here at YouTube, you've seen that I've been doing this handstand challenge. And, that came about in a funny way, because my daughter over the weekend, she just came up out of nowhere, and she was like, she looked me dead in the eye, like straight down the barrel of the gun, and she goes, "You need to learn how to do a handstand before we move." Like, I'm just letting you know, she's 7 years old, and I was like, yes, ma'am. Like she loves doing handstands. She likes practicing them out on the trampoline. And the future, we're getting ready to move as I retire out of the Army. We're going to move back to Texas. We're going to move close to family. And then I'm going to start, getting more into this health and wellness stuff, like as a job, as a, super profession. And she looked at me, man, she came right up to me and just looked at me dead in the eye. She goes, you need to learn how to do a handstand. And so that was it. I was like, all right. I was like, say less, let's go. And so from then on, I started, I'm challenging myself to try and learn how to do a handstand, and that's kind of also where this, where this CrossFit training program has come in, where if you look at the CrossFit Games, there is always an event where they're walking on their hands and doing something kind of ridiculous, and there's no need for it. They say it's functional fitness, but no one's fucking walking on their hands upstairs, right? That's not fucking functional at all. Use your feet, all right? Unless you have no legs, that's a different story. Then just send somebody else, all right? Know your limits. But for the CrossFit Games, like, I think that's pretty good. I think I want to do that. That's something I really want to try. I do think this is a very lofty goal, all right, to go to the CrossFit Games. So I do want to compete in something like a regionals. I think that would be really fun. I think I have a lot of stuff for that. But again, my super weaknesses are the Olympic lifts and gymnastics. I have all the muscles. I don't know about skills. I got something. But I think that's something that I can do. I think there's a lot involved, there's a lot of my knowledge that has like all these hybrid things that I can do, that I think that will involve well. But doing this handstand challenge has actually been one of the funnest things that I've ever done, because it's just like, all right, I film it for like a minute or two, but then I practice it for like 5 minutes, and I'll just be kicking up on the side of the wall. I've started doing that, kicking it up on the side of the wall. I've gotten a lot of advice from a lot of people who watch this. And I'm so grateful for that. I didn't know this would be this fun. Like, I thought it would be fun. I thought it'd be this fun, but it is like way up here fun. And I'm so thankful for everyone who's putting in advice, who's watching it, who comments and likes and stuff, because there are a ton of people who know how to do handstands. And I am just thrilled. Like, it is outstanding engaging with this. So, please follow along for that, man. That's where I'm going to wrap it up here. Handstand challenges. Follow along, man. Go check it out on Instagram, TikTok, or here on YouTube. If you're already here on YouTube, that's awesome. Don't worry about going to it. I'm active on other platforms and different means of it. So TikTok, I'll do different things. Instagram, I'll post some things. I have a Facebook page, and I'm starting to try and figure out a little bit more about like how to put out better information for that, so it could be more like a Wikipedia or encyclopedia. But yeah, so go ahead, give a like, subscribe, follow somewhere. Also, I'm working on a new nutrition book. I'm working on a new like beginner program. I'm working on all this stuff, and I should have that out pretty shortly. I don't know, but it's going to be for free, and it's going to be on my Google Drive. I don't want to charge for the basics. That's really stupid, and pretty money grubbing. And so, if I want to put all this stuff out there for free, you learn how. I'll put it out. If you have questions, reach out to me. If you want to actually work with me, I do personal training, I do coaching, I do all that stuff, and I really do enjoy that too. Then we can start working together. If there's a specific goal, if there's anything like that, then I do that, and that's where I charge, and I give you my all at that point. So go ahead if you want to do that. There's in my link tree. And there's also, if you go to it, that's where you can find the free downloads. You can get a free consultation on anything. Where how my free consultations work are, I send you a questionnaire. You fill it out, send it back to me. We talk about it. I get some more information from it. And then a week later, we have another meeting after I've thought about it. I'm like, here's what I think would work for you. Here is the plan that I've come up with. Here is where I think you would want to go in order to reach your goal. And then that's yours. Like, if you want to do it, that's you. Like, you don't have to say yes to working with me. That's on you, because if it, if it doesn't come out to be affordable or in your budget, then that is what it is, right? I can't change your budget, but I can give you the tool right there. Like, hey, you go do this, go take it, go do things, go do what you want to do with it. And so it's free for that. So that's how my free consultations work. It's not like, it's not going to be me, just, you have to pay me on that one. Free consultation is a 2-meeting thing, and you will get a plan at the end of it, and where I think you would best to see fit to strengthen and get to your goal. So, hey, thank you again for sticking to it. Remember, like, subscribe, do all that wonderful stuff. And so I appreciate everyone for sticking around to the end of the podcast. I'm going to try and have these out once a week. But again, thank you. My name is Weston Falconberry, the coach for Fine Fix Finish Health and Wellness, and I will see you in the next one.